Hello friends, thanks for watching. A little less than 2 years ago, I made a video about the city of Oakland in California. I've never physically been in Oakland, but I was exploring Oakland using Google Street View. And what I saw was pretty disturbing. Of course, Oakland has many beautiful parts and it's located at the San Francisco Bay and it has wonderful weather, all of which is great. But it was too easy for me to find parts of Oakland that looked like total slums. There are vast areas in Oakland where we find streets that look like waste dumps, and there were people living in tents and shacks that they build from slabs of wood and corrugated iron. These areas truly look like third world slums. Quite a large number of people saw that video. It now has over about 80,000 views. I will put the link to that video in the description below. Some people sent me messages saying I was too harsh on Oakland. And they told me that many of these homeless encampments had been removed last year, and they suggested that I perhaps should have another look at Oakland and make a new video showing a more recent image of Oakland. So that is what I did. Again, I dived into Google Street View and visited Oakland, California, and guess what? It still is a mess. So the previous video I made about Oakland showed images that were mostly made in 2020 and 2021, but in the meanwhile Google updated many parts of the Oakland area in Google Street View, and in today's video you can see Oakland as it was in 2022 and 2023, and you see what you see and it is as it is. Yes, I've read the news articles suggesting that many of these homeless encampments in Oakland would be removed, and indeed in some cases they did, but that is pretty pointless if the root causes of these homeless camps are not dealt with. If you just remove these tents, they will pop up elsewhere, sometimes only 1 block down the road, sometimes at the exact same spot. Homeless people have no place to go. They need shelter. If nobody provides that for them, they will get themselves a tent, put it on the pavement in a spot where they don't expect to be chased away the next day. And if that tent is still there the next day, some other person will put his tent right next to it, so the whole process will start all over again. Here you can see a crazy example of a homeless encampment at East 12th Street in Oakland. This has gotten so much out of hand that someone built a shed with 2 floors right next to a public road. Here is another problem I frequently saw in Google Street View. Homeless people produce waste, but they don't have access to waste management services. So you often see public waste dumps right next to homeless encampments. Yes, that's another public waste dump right next to the street. So these people have surrounded their tent with some kind of fence, blocking the view from the outside, creating their own outside privacy space. I've been here before in my previous video about Oakland. This is Wood Street, and I don't even know what I'm looking at. I can see people are living here in cars, in RVs, in tents. At the same time, there are car wrecks and waste everywhere. This street really is totally trashed. This absolutely is one of the worst areas in Oakland and in California. This is exactly the kind of misery and poverty that countries like the USA should be able to prevent, or at least the largest economy in the world should be capable of significantly reducing the homeless problem. I'm from Europe, and Europe isn't perfect either, but at least in many countries in Europe we have a bit more facilities to support people who otherwise would live on the streets. Yes, we pay a bit more taxes than in the USA. Yes, some of these homeless people are fools who got into trouble because of their own mistakes, but many of them just ran out of luck. Their employer got bankrupt and fired them. The landlord got greedy and doubled the rent. They suffer from a disease that causes agonizing pain. Their spouse abandoned them, got terminally ill or died in a car accident, you name it. Most of these people got into trouble because of a series of misfortune, often leading to them trying to make the pain go away by using substance. What if it is your brother, sister, father, mother, or child who lives in a tent on the streets? You don't want that. I'd rather pay a bit more taxes if that helps to prevent at least some people from ending up on the streets. But that's my personal take, and I know many people don't agree with that approach. It's really hard to make sense of what we're watching. How and why did all that trash end up here? Do people collect it in order to sell it? Then who buys it? This is another surreal image. Look, someone apparently dumped an entire boat in the middle of the street. It's astounding. Look at this. It looks as if someone dumped the seats of an entire bus here. What? Again, this makes you wonder what we're even looking at. It seems like a car graveyard and a waste dump and a homeless encampment. It is such a mess that it's hard to identify the vehicles or sheds that people actually live in. Again, totally surreal. A totally trashed modern car, and then a car put on its roof and trashed with graffiti. What the heck is going on here? Sometimes you just might forget that places like these are not just public waste dumps. They are people's homes. They live here. Look, there they are. Some of these places almost look like totally abandoned wastelands after some doomsday weapon destroyed the city. But here we can clearly see the vehicles, tents and sheds that people are living in. This is the Martin Luther King Way, and in my previous video about Oakland, this was one of the worst areas. Now this is the same road 1 year later, and it seems that it still is a very bad place. Let's have a look at some details. This guy clearly has some injury or disease in his foot. Oh boy, this is so bad. Look at all the trash. This might be even worse than 1 or 2 years ago. We are approaching some freeway flyovers now, and those are places where usually large groups of homeless people set up camp, and this is no exception. Look at the scale of the homeless problem in this particular spot. I think in this spot alone, maybe 100 people have set up camp, and that's just one tiny part of one street in one American city. And again, I have no idea what's going on here. This person has surrounded himself with hundreds, if not thousands of items that he maybe wants to sell. And now comes the part in which I show you how pointless it is to just clean out these homeless camps without any social, economical backup plan. Look, a few years ago this was a normal street, and now it's a homeless camp. You can clean out a camp and then it will pop up in another spot. And this example seems to show that this process can repeat itself multiple times in one spot. Look, in 2018, this was just an empty plot of land. But in 2020, it very much looks like there has been a homeless camp that has just been cleaned. We still see a lot of trash and tracks that look as if cars and tents have been standing here. And then in 2022, it's a homeless camp again. That is what reality is. chase these people away without a real solution, and they will come back. What else would you expect? And here we have another example of that same principle. In 2017, this was a relatively normal empty plot of land. However, in 2022, it's a homeless camp. Yes, when you remove these camps from central Oakland, they will pop up in the outskirts of the city, and when you remove them there, they will return to downtown. And another example. In 2018, just an empty plot of land. In 2022, a pretty big homeless camp. And so on. You can find these examples all over Google Street View, which makes Google Street View a pretty interesting tool to assess the effectiveness of local policies regarding these homeless camps. And although I haven't done proper research into this specific location, let me say that what I see worries me. The situation in Oakland very much looks like a perpetual cycle of cleaning out homeless camps that pop up somewhere else. So maybe the local authorities in Oakland have got something to think about. Thanks for watching. Oh, and please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like these. Thanks.